In a bustling coastal town where the sea breeze carried the salty scent of the ocean, there lived a fisherman named Kai. For years, Kai had been known as the most skilled fisherman in the region, respected for his ability to navigate the unpredictable waves and return with a bountiful catch that fed the entire town. His boat, the Serene Tide, had been passed down through generations, a symbol of resilience and tradition. But the sea, while generous at times, could also be cruel. One summer, the tides turned against the town. Fish became scarce, and the once thriving coastal community began to struggle. Many fishermen found themselves returning from days on the water with empty nets. Kai, too, felt the sting of failure as his once reliable techniques yielded nothing but disappointment. Weeks passed, and the town grew anxious, whispers of famine circulating through the narrow streets. Many began to lose hope, convinced that the sea had turned its back on them for good. But Kai, with his quiet strength, refused to give up. Every morning before dawn, he would rise and prepare the Serene Tide for another journey. His wife, May, would watch him from the shore, her heart heavy with worry but her faith in him unshaken. "The sea has always provided," Kai would say, his voice steady with conviction. "I must keep going. The fish are out there, we just have to find them." As the days passed, the town began to question Kai's persistence. Some of the younger fishermen even mocked him, saying that he was chasing after a dream that had long since vanished with the tides. But Kai remained steadfast. He believed that the sea, like life, had its cycles of abundance and scarcity, and it was up to him to endure through the difficult times. One morning, after weeks of empty nets and turbulent seas, something changed. As Kai sailed farther out than he ever had before, a deep calm settled over the water. The sky, painted with hues of gold and crimson from the rising sun, seemed to guide him to a place he had never ventured to. The water was still, almost reflective, and the air was filled with a strange but comforting silence. Kai knew in his heart that this was the moment he had been waiting for. He cast his nets into the water, his hands steady and sure. 4 hours, he waited, his boat drifting in the gentle current. Just as doubt began to creep into his mind, his net suddenly tightened. With all his strength, he began to pull, and to his astonishment, the net was filled with fish, more than he had ever seen in his life. Kai's heart raced as he realized that this catch would not only feed his family, but the entire town. When Kai returned to the shore, the townspeople gathered in disbelief. The boat was overflowing with fish, shimmering under the midday sun. The younger fishermen who had once mocked him stood in awe, their faces filled with admiration and shame. Kai, however, held no anger toward them. Instead, he smiled warmly and said, "The sea tests us, just as life does. But we must never lose hope. The bounty always returns to those who remain patient and persistent." The town celebrated that night, feasting on the fruits of Kai's labor. The streets, once filled with whispers of despair, now echoed with laughter and joy. May, standing beside her husband, looked up at him with pride. "You never gave up," she whispered, her eyes shining with tears. Kai simply nodded, his heart full but his words humble. "Hope is like a flame," he said. "It may flicker, but it never truly goes out as long as we keep believing." From that day forward, Kai was no longer just known as the most skilled fisherman in the town. He became a symbol of unwavering hope, a reminder that even in the darkest times, there is always light on the horizon if one is willing to sail toward it. And so the story of Kai, the fisherman who never gave up on the sea or on life, became a legend passed down through generations, inspiring all who heard it to keep their hope alive, no matter the odds.